Hello and welcome back. It's time for Chit Chat with two T's. As usual, I'm your host, counseling psychologist, jvaldez. And with me today, because it is our season 2 finale, guys. And so we had to make sure we had extra special person today. No one my guest special. But this one, she was worth the wait, guys. Today with me is Miss Mickela Panday. Welcome,
Hello.
Mickela. We're so happy to have you, attorney and politician, Patriot. We're happy to have you with us. How are you today?
I'm good. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm excited to be here to be talking about a really important issue. So thank you so much for inviting me.
No
Thank
problem.
you.
Thank you. Thank you for saying yes.
Thank you for saying
yes. We appreciate you. So I know that a lot of people, they know you by name. Some of them know you by face. Some of them know you as, as the offspring. I don't know. Many people probably don't know who your dad is, so no one knows that. So maybe you could tell us about you. Who is Mickela?
Every time somebody asks me that, it's one of the most difficult questions, and I'll tell you why. When people ask you that, it almost feels very uncomfortable to answer and almost self-promotional in a strange way. I always feel it's so much better for somebody else to answer. So who do you think that person is? You kind of get a very truthful and holistic answer. But what can I say? Of course, in terms of work, I'm a politician, I'm a lawyer. I describe myself also as a humanitarian from a very, very, very young age. And of course, I'm a daughter, I'm an auntie. I'm a patriot. That comes first and foremost for me. I absolutely love my country. I like sport a lot. I used to run track and field when I was younger.
Did not know this.
Yes, I did 4x100 meter and 100 meter flat.
Look at you.
And all the way up to nationals.
Wow.
In the stadium, yeah. And I'm only 5'2".
Me too.
And I'm only 5'2". So I'm only 5'2". So it means, we could do anything we put our minds to. So yeah, just nature and outdoors. And of course I like politics, which is why I'm in it.
Yes.
But then again, I always say, people say, well, who is this person? It's always good, to ask, to hear what other people genuinely sort of think about you. But that's how I would describe myself. What else could I say? Because I'm sounding a little bit boring now.
No. Listen to me. This is perfect.
I like to.
We're gonna get more into you. But what is it? You were saying you like to what?
No, and I like to spend a lot of time outdoors. Okay. That is something that sort of helps me to. That's a better way to say it, to create a balance in what is an extremely highly stressful life.
Yes.
Your legal profession, it absolutely is, because you have the responsibility for what happens to others on you. And of course, in politics, which you will see is, well, it is what it is.
That's the best way to describe it.
Every single day. It is what it is. It is, especially in Trinidad.
Yes.
And then of course, I think you have to always have a peace of mind. Being a woman, and I'm not using that in a sense of victimhood at all, but it is in those two professions, it is quite difficult.
Yes.
And you are treated differently. But again, instead of looking at that as an obstacle, I try to treat it as a challenge. It's something that's, that we can overcome. But yeah, so you kind of have to have a balanced life where there's some level of calm in this storm. And I really do love spending time with family and friends. And I love the beach. I love the beach.
Because you're a Trinity born.
Because I'm a Trinity born. And just being outdoors. I find so many people now just on their phones, and if they're not texting or on social media,
we're addicted,
We're addicted. We're addicted.
Yeah,
I
we're
think
addicted.
people take their phones to the toilet. People
Yes.
take their phones to the table when they're eating.
Yes.
You're eating and you're on your phone. It can be really addictive. So I like to just say no, switch it off,
Yes.
and just go outside.
Yes.
Even within your own home, if you could just step outside, walk up the road instead of driving to the shop, driving to the shop.
Why are you
which is a
attacking me
minute.
today, Mickela? Walking on the road instead of
Sorry,
driving to the shop. Oh my gosh.
And complaining it's too hot. And complaining it's too hot. And complaining it's this. No, we could do it. And just 2 minutes of walking.
Yeah.
Those amazing things. Amazing.
I agree with you. And you see, Mickela, this is why you are where you're at in your life, because you're a high achiever. Mickela reached the end before we reach there. You know, we didn't even start good yet.
Oh,
Mickela
sorry. Let's go. We're going to have some.
No, that is
We have plenty to talk about.
We have plenty to talk about. And I love that you're already bringing it in there, because that's what we aim, to spread the gospel of the balanced life. That's basically what I love trying to do, because it's important in terms of everything we have to do. We also have to have that part that we can calm down a bit. We can stay away from the screens. We can, our lives are so busy. We take that time to carve out for us. So I'm glad that you're talking about it. And we're going to talk some more about that. But before we get to that, I am curious to know, because I'm going to show you mine. I'm curious to know about what's in your cup. So mine today, It says it's always bedtime, because it should always be bedtime and I love to sleep. And my dear friend Victoria Lee Cummings, who was our episode 11 guest, I think it was 10 or 11, she gifted me with this beautiful cup. And so I decided that I would use it today. Thank you. It's very fancy. She knows I'm clumsy because the cup is stuck to the saucer. So
I love that.
Thanks, Victoria. I'm using your cup. And in it, I have some well done, Victoria. I have some Dilmah green tea with lemongrass and a little spice stick, cinnamon spice stick, because why not put a little spice stick in your tea, right? So that's what's going on with me, literally in my cup. What do you have over there?
Well, two things. So I can tell you, I have 2 cups, only one with me today, but I'll tell you. So I don't really drink too much tea or coffee,
right? Okay.
But in the morning, I like to drink hot chocolate.
Yes, Mickela, we are going to be friends. This is what it is. That's your official
with some
sign.
Whipped cream.
This is the official sign that you and I are going to be best friends. That's what it is.
We are.
I love that.
So that cup has a picture of my dog, Norman, on it. A friend gave me as a birthday present, and I'm so sorry that I left it. But it's so every morning I can see it and see Normie's sweet little face. And have my soothing little hot chocolate. However, at work, I don't drink hot chocolate because I'm supposed to be concentrating. So I'm having green tea with purple acai blueberry. And I have my name on it in case I forget who I am.
Because that is the thing. You will always have your coffee or tea mug with you everywhere you go. So in case you forget who you are, you need that. That makes sense to me.
Yeah. So I have my name on that one. So at work, I drink, same as you. So I have green tea or that kind of thing. Caffeine doesn't work too well with me. I think I have enough energy and spice going on for me.
You don't need that extra caffeine. Yes.
I don't need that extra caffeine. So so green tea is very, very good. So that's what I'm having. Yeah.
All right, so we're twinsies today in that respect as well.
We're twinsies. Yes.
And so literally that's what you have in your cup, and figuratively, because you have so much going on. I mean, all the things that you told me that you are, I'm sure that creates that whirlwind of craziness, and you're already at work. So could you tell us figuratively what's in your cup? What's going on with you?
Life and so many people, I don't want to say that politics and or law is more highly stressed than anybody else. I think everybody has their stress going on in their own way. Somebody has a really terrible boss that they have to go and face, or a co-worker that they can't really handle. In my personal, it's very high highly stressed, but I have to say, because I like what I do,
right,
I enjoy it.
yes,
but I still feel I need that time out because, of course, you get annoyed.
yes,
You can get irritated by things. You can get anxious by things. I feel for myself that if I don't take that time, sometimes in a day, just to sort of be on your own, your anxiety level can go up because there's so many things hitting at so many different times. You wake up in the morning, for example, and you have to read the newspaper. I used to do that. I stopped. I read it, but after I do certain things. But the first thing I like to do is say my prayers. I have to say my prayers and thank God for blessing me with a new day. A lot of people are not waking up.
Correct.
So thank God for all the blessings that we have. So I must do that. And not just like as soon as I open my eyes. And then what I started doing as well was listening to different mantras on YouTube and things like that. There are a lot of Buddhist mantras, the Hindu mantras, they're all it's just peaceful. And you sort of listen to it. Sometimes it's just sound and not words. And even if I get up and you're doing a couple of things, just to get that peace of mind in the morning, I think. Because I used to get up and as soon as I got up, I would pick up my phone.
A lot, a lot of us call it. You're shouting, you're attacking Ricardo now. Look at him. Look at his guilty face.
Do you do that? Do you do it? But I used to do it as well. I used to do it as well. So first of all, I'm going into WhatsApp. Did I miss anything? Did anybody text me? Do I have to respond? That's one. Then I want to check the news. Then I want to check Facebook. Then I want to check all these things. And it just takes one thing to trigger and start you off.
And you go down your rabbit hole.
And you go down the rabbit hole, and I do not want that. And then the news. Because so much crime is going on, you're going to begin with murder. And being killed. And yet you have to face it. It's not a matter that you close your eyes to the reality of what's happening. But I think you have to start on a positive note to get the strength mentally, physically, emotionally, psychologically to face the day. And cope with whatever sort of challenges, obstacles you'll face. So so for me, I think so many people are going through worse things. So there's nothing I have to complain about. But of course, I think that I'm learning as I get older. And that's why getting older is beautiful. When you're younger, you kind of, you want everything done really quickly and you get vexed and no, I'm starting to learn more about myself. I'm starting to learn how to deal with my own emotions. Because it's okay to be energetic, it's okay to have energy, but where am I directing this energy to? Because what I'm putting out is coming back. So it's just taking that time. You don't always have that time, but you can go to the washroom and just stand by yourself for a moment. And I think that was more important when I saw what the effects of lockdown and the amount of people having spoke to that I realized really, really suffered from a degree of depression. And we allowed really to say that word.
That. You can.
And you see people, and this is what I wanted to also have a chat with you about. There are different stages or is it stages or forms of depression? And I think people feel if you're not clinically depressed, you're not depressed.
Correct. If you're not getting up and not bathing, then you're okay. That's how most people think.
I mean, isn't it that in order for you to become clinically depressed, you have to begin by being depressed and then kind of fall deeper and deeper into that.
It's not you don't start out at 100. And for some people, especially people like yourself who are so busy and always going, and people have a lot of expectations of them, some people can be functionally depressed. So you're depressed, but you're moving, you're doing, Ricardo keeps getting attacked today. You're moving as normal and no one would guess. And that's why for a lot of persons, if they were to go that step where they take their lives, people are shocked. It doesn't start out at 100. For most people, you're absolutely right. Yeah.
And I found in COVID, and especially that, as I was saying to you, I found especially then, I sort of had to find ways to feel that sense of calm, because although no one was you were working, the politics was more or less stagnant because it's just COVID. Even that stopped, that kind of plateauing of just nothing all of a sudden was hard to adjust to. But I tried to do things. I started to read things, excuse me, that I enjoy more, as opposed to reading because I have to read this.
Yes.
And a friend gave me, you will not believe this, a stack of Archie comics.
Oh, yes.
It was the best.
That is a good friend. You need to say thank you to that person right now. That person. Keep that friend.
It was so lovely and in a beautiful little bow. And it was so nice. And I remember when I was younger, and I remember I loved Archie comics. And we didn't have all the things that we have now, and phones that could do all these things and read on YouTube and nothing like that.
We had paper books. You had to turn pages.
Paper books. That's Brighton, Archie comics, Mr. Medal.
Nancy Drew, Hardy Boys.
Nancy Drew, Hardy Boys, Famous Five.
That's Enid Blyton, yeah.
Correct. And I just to stop and do things that I had not done in so long. And relax. Also, to spend a bit more time with my family.
Yes. Which was the upside for most people, I think.
Yeah. And, well, not all, because some wanted to run from the family after a while. But God, who was probably thinking.
True story.
After a while. No, but it was lovely. Spend time and talk.
Yeah.
And talk. Because we still text.
We don't have that. A lot of people, especially young people now, they don't have that level of interpersonal skills because everything is on the screen. Everything is on this device. So it was a good thing in that regard. And just coming back to you in terms of you and everything that you're managing, you said 2 stressful jobs, right? Two professions that may not be the most well liked, but definitely a lot of them are sought after. How do you manage that? You're in the public eye. You've been in the public eye forever and a day. How do you manage that? Everyone knowing who you are, you wanting to do certain things, you having everything you say scrutinized. That's an immense amount of pressure. How do you manage that?
That is such a beautiful question. I've been asked that question before, but never so eloquently.
Oh, thank you.
No, because it really resonated at home. I felt a little bit emotional. It is difficult.
Yeah.
I would just not be telling the truth if I said to you that it was easy.
Yeah.
So in any difficult situation, you have to find coping mechanisms. I choose to do this. I'm not being forced to do it. So that's the first thing that you have to accept. I have chosen professions, and especially being a politician, that I am a public figure.
Yeah.
Nobody is holding a gun to my head and telling me to do it. So at any time, I can say, I've had enough and go. So I've chosen this. So I accept it and then I own it.
Yeah.
This is what this is what I have chosen to do. Is it difficult? Of course it's difficult. Does it have challenges? Of course it does. Let's deal with social media to start with. I know it doesn't matter who you are. You can post something and get 100 really nice comments and 100 and that one bad one sticks in your head.
Yes.
And sticks in your head. And I think, and I could only imagine if as an adult, you kind of say, what's going on? What's going on with these people? What a young person must feel like.
Correct.
I can only imagine. So I try to ignore those kinds of things and negativity. And then, of course, everywhere you go, you can't have it both ways, because it is lovely when people recognize you. If people don't recognize you in politics, it's kind of, you're not doing something
What are you doing?
right.
What are you doing?
Exactly. You're not doing it. You're not doing it.
Right.
So it's wonderful. I like people, so that helps. Spending time with people, hugging, talking, chatting. I like that. But then again, I think you do need your own personal space and time.
That's hard to get.
It's hard to get, but I think if you want it, it can be done.
Right.
There's some politicians and some lawyers who crave the spotlight continuously. Yeah. And nothing is wrong with that either. I'm not one of those. So I need that bit of time. I'm very lucky and very blessed because I have a small group of friends that I've had since I was very, very young.
Right.
So since I was 7 years old, 8 years old, and from school, and that's lovely. So you can be who you want to be, and you can get annoyed. You could just be yourself, and that's nice because one, you're not being judged, and two, you can trust them because
trust is big.
Trust is really big. Especially now with everybody. I'm not saying you're doing anything wrong, but everybody, they've got phones. So many things could be misread, misinterpreted. Yes. So of course, as a public figure, I think you have to behave properly. I would like to hope I do, but I'm human. And I don't want you to see me one time I was walking and falling over, or like looking a bit crazy or some kind of thing like that.
Never.
But never. I try my best. But I think having somebody you can talk to and friends.
Yes.
Or a family member. Somebody. It could be a priest. It could be somebody from your church, from your temple, from your mosque. Somebody that you could speak to. I think holding things and not the best way. Let's be honest. Mayara is a beautiful beach. I mean, just hundreds and hundreds of meters of beach. You can take a walk and can be by yourself.
Yeah.
If you want to find that peace and time and space by yourself, I think that you can find it. And I think it's important to find it because you cannot just live in this whirlwind of
It's a lot.
It's a lot. And the thing is, you are being judged constantly and you're aware that you're being judged. But I think if you are also honest with yourself and true to yourself and who you are, you don't have to fake it.
Yeah.
And sometimes, I don't have the worry that my mask will fall in public because this is what you see is what you get. Sometimes you think that I'm not perfect, and I accept that, and people will know that because they're not perfect. But there's certain people who create almost a brand, I don't know what they want people to see them as. And the moment you don't, trust me, you'll come flying down very quickly, and that fall is quite hard. So be who you are. And I come back to the fact that I really like people. I like talking to people, finding out about people, learning something every single day. I love it. I love it. So I feel then I always learn something.
Yeah.
So if you're going to the market, or if you meet some young people, or if there's always something you can learn. You don't know everything.
Yeah.
But you also need alone time and some time with your friends. Yeah, and then we come back to that. We come back to that beautiful thing of being able to balance, which I don't do well all the time.
Well, I mean, no one with as many titles as yourself and everything you're involved in can do that well. But it's so funny. I think we're very much on the same page because as you were starting to speak about being true to yourself, I was going to ask you, how do you manage to, like, you don't hear about you. You don't hear about your personal life, but you're out there as a public figure and you're able to be yourself. It's very genuine. I don't feel like, and I feel for the most part, exes notwithstanding, I feel for the most part that I'm a very good judge of character,
Exes withstanding.
But your vibe, I don't get the sense that you're putting this on. This is really who you are, and I think that really is how you manage all of the things you have to deal with because you're a known person. You're a public figure. You decided, hey, I'm gonna I'm going to get into politics and have everybody judge me every day, all the time. And people compare me to, my father that no one knows. This, little known person, in the country of Trinidad and Tobago. Just little known. The only how you could really manage that is really by being yourself and being true to who you are. And I imagine that's very difficult to do sometimes, especially if forgive me if I'm wrong, you can tell me, but do people compare you constantly to him?
You get this. You look exactly like your dad.
You really do look like him.
Somebody wrote and said, you stole your father's whole face.
His whole face.
So I thought I was he said his whole face. I would meet people and they would not recognize me, but they would say they recognize my voice. That one shocks me.
Too.
They said that, but you see, people don't know my other sisters.
Right.
So I would say I might have his mannerisms and things like that. So I have a younger sister that is the splitting, she's in the defense force, the splitting image of my dad.
Really?
I think I look half my mom, half my dad.
Right. True.
But my younger sister, exactly walks like that and all that. So you get that. You sound like him, you look like him. I think those are beautiful compliments.
Yeah.
I feel honored in a strange way because how to say, there is my dad and there's Mickela Panday.
Right.
And they're two different people.
And you know the two.
And I know the two.
You know the two.
So the one because I've got 3 sisters, so 4 girls, my mom.
Right.
And my dad. He's outvoted every time. He's never won an election in that house. He's never won an election in that house. There's no democracy. You want democracy? He's never win an election in that house. Nothing, Your dad is your dad. Come on. Your dad is your dad when you do something really stupid.
Yeah.
And you need to talk to somebody too, or you need advice on something, or you want to sit down and just have old talk with, that's your dad.
Yeah.
But I've also worked with my dad. And that's when I say that's Mickela Panday.
Right. Okay. Mm-hmm.
And that was then when it was the leader of the party.
Yes.
Or the prime minister. Or the leader of the opposition.
Yeah.
And you find a way and you separate it. So I think he was successful in what he did. So to be compared to him is great for me. And I once told Cardo, and I always say, people say, how does it feel to walk in your dad's shadow? And I said, I don't walk in his shadow, I walk in his light. And that's how I feel.
Stop that. Oh my God. Did you hear what Mickela said? She does not walk in his shadow, she walks in his light.
Yeah, what? But I feel like that. I promise
Mickela,
you
are
like
preaching on a Thursday, and I love it.
I do. There is all the good things that he's done and things that he's achieved, But I don't compare myself because I'm my own person. I get compared to lots of people, but I also look at it this way. Faris Arawi and Brian Manning don't get asked the questions I get asked.
Yes, true. Very true.
And it gives me an opportunity, to answer it, but they don't ask the question, what did you do?
Yeah.
Their parents, Brian and I, we're more or less the same age. He went to Presentation College. I went to Naprima Girls. We're friends up till together today. I have great love for his family. I love Auntie Hazel. But I look at it, so I don't say this in any form of criticism. I just say, he's never asked. He doesn't, the bar isn't set at the same level for him.
Because
and
you're a
that
woman.
Was a private, it is that.
You're a woman.
And it is no other reason.
There's nothing else.
Questions that, and that's okay. That's okay. I rise to the challenge. Yes, but ever so often, if someone asks me, I'll say, have you ever asked any of these boys this question?
Exactly.
Have you ever asked any of these boys these questions? You know, and they're not, So, like I say, one is being compared to dad, and I have no problem with that. Yeah. As a leader, which is how people know him to be, compared to someone that a lot of people in this country think that was one of the best prime ministers, to me is wow. Yeah. Wow. I don't deserve that. I don't deserve that. I have a lot more to do before I could ever be compared to that. You know, so I'm humbled by that, as opposed to it being hurting me or stressing me out or anything like that. Good. No, not at all. Not at all.
So you decided that you were gonna be an attorney, did that, and you said, "Hey, I'm gonna jump in this political thing." Yeah. I mean, I'm sure you've been asked this question also, but I'm still going to ask you, why? How? What made you determine that this is the path I want to walk?
I think, although it is not the nicest profession, it is one way that is guaranteed. If you have the right will, you can help people. And it doesn't matter how many charities or groups that you're part of. Yeah. You have power.
That's right.
By the stroke of a pen, you can change lives.
Wow.
And I first said, I must have a vision of what I want Trinidad and Tobago to be.
Yeah.
And if you have a vision for your country, then you can bring like-minded people together. And you can be part of the decision-making process. What better way? I don't think you have to stay there forever.
True.
I think you can get in there, do what you have to do, and move it on, and move it on, and move it on. I think you have to get in there, start looking at succession and young people and different things, and keep moving it on. That's why we continuously get stuck. That's why we're stuck. We can't move.
People don't want to move.
There's nobody. They don't want to move.
They don't want to move, Mickela. Let's see.
But you see, life is short. They don't want to move. But you see, life is short. We know we're only here for a short period of time. That's one thing we guarantee. We know nothing else. We know we're here for a short period of time.
Correct.
There's so much in life to enjoy and to see and to appreciate. Everything is not politics. That's why I say you get in there.
Yeah.
Do what you have to do and do the right thing. And continue to live and get out. But you can continue helping and doing
in a different way.
In a different way. Not everything is electoral politics. So I think everything is politics. Everything. I think what we're doing here is politics. Everything is politics. Politics is everything. It's all around us. But electoral politics is something else.
Yes, correct.
And I decided to go into electoral politics. And then that is something completely different. And if you have the right group of people working together with the political will, anything can be done.
This is true.
Anything can be done. Which is why I used to wonder why when people got there, it wasn't being done. Maybe
when you find out, please let me know. When you find out, let me know.
I know it's pressure being there. Yeah, I know it's pressure being there. And I can only imagine whether it's Dr. Rowley, Mr. Panday, Kamala Prasad, I mean, I remember even who I know as Uncle Georgie Chambers. Yeah. How horrific people were to him with that song, Chambers, Dancy, and he was one of the most intelligent men. And my dad will say that up to today. Up to today. So I say that in it, you're at the highest and biggest job.
Yes.
You are constantly being looked at and judged. People are going to say that the buck deals with you. And I hope pressure. I hope they themselves have ways of coping with things mentally. Because that's a lot of pressure. It doesn't matter whether you're president of the United States or you're prime minister of Trinidad and Tobago. The reality is you are responsible for the people.
You're responsible.
You govern. You're responsible. So that's like having 1.3 million children. You're responsible. Gosh. Everything you do will affect them.
It's true.
Otherwise, you can't make them all happy.
Right 1.3 is
but isn't it exactly? But isn't it ironic then? Everybody wants that job.
True.
I don't feel
thinking about the power, right? They're thinking about the power.
I think the power, and I think perks.
Of course. Of course.
But I don't feel the responsibility.
No.
And sometimes I look at the peacock and thing that goes on. You can accept all of those things. It can go really bad. And sometimes I think what's happened now is that there is a difference between peacock and you becoming somebody that's ridiculed.
Yes.
Many of them have put themselves in that position, but to be ridiculed, I can only imagine what it feels like for them. Even then, there is a refusal to move up. Yeah. I think, can you imagine that job not having any privacy ever?
Ever in your life. Ever in your life. Every
single
thing.
While you're there. When you're there, you have people, bodyguards, cars behind you, people inside the car. To me, that's a nightmare. And that's a sacrifice of the job.
It's a sacrifice, yes.
I don't know if everybody else looks at it like that, but I think it is. And for my dad, it surely was.
Yeah.
I could tell you something, and this is and I've never told anyone this.
Oh.
Never. My dad, I got to some conference or some kind of thing in London. And he said, and I remember the special branch officer, his name was Maxwell, and a wonderful man. And he says, I'm only going to take one security. All right. He says, I'm only going to take one person because it costs so much money to take this entourage and things.
Yeah.
So dad had a room, so he had a room here. And Maximilian had a room here. And I remember it was me, it was my sister, mom, and we'd gone somewhere shopping or some kind of thing. And we came back and dad was not in his room. Everybody gone mad. What is going on? What is going on here? So Max, poor Max was having a little rest. Oh my God, Mr. Panday is not here. Whatever, right? Dad said, boy, you go and rest. I'm not going anywhere. Stay right here. Snuck out. I mean, it's London. Nobody ain't going to do you anything. So whatever. But I remember crossed over into Hyde Park and just went for a walk. And when he came back and we quarrel with him, he says, if I go to the toilet, they have a man standing up outside my door.
Just wanted to feel like himself. Yeah.
Himself.
Some space by himself.
Space by yourself. And I think it is a job that people really should speak to people like you before they take. Because you've got to have some good mental, have some good mental strength to deal with it. But then again, what I've always believed in, focus on the eye of the bird, and all the noise is just noise around you. Focus on what you have to do, and that helps me. But of course, it hurts if someone says something nasty, especially if it's untrue.
Right.
You can't.
One thing if it's true.
Yeah. If it's true, you kind of say, "Oh God, I wish they didn't know."
I wish I didn't know. Correct.
I wish I didn't see me there. But the next thing is, when it's untrue, you as a politician, you can't out every bushfire.
You can't.
You have to focus on what you have to do. I do think there are limits, and for myself personally, I have to tell you, there are lines that I draw in what I would then think is defamatory, and I would definitely then do something if I think you really crossed the line. But other than that, you just have to find a way to deal with things, and having people around you that love you.
Yes.
Going outside. Sitting under a mango tree, if that's what you have to do. It sounds basic.
Yeah.
But, it sounds like, oh, this is silly. It isn't. It isn't.
It is not silly.
The breeze blowing, sweeping. Tell me what you think about that, Doc. I like sweeping with a coquille broom.
I love it.
Think about it.
Mickela, tell me some
Think about it. And when the breeze blowing, you can straighten out the whole broom.
Very therapeutic, I imagine. Very therapeutic.
Sweeping. Everybody likes something that they do. I have a friend who says, I'm going to wash aways. I'm going to clean the bathrooms. I'm going to do something. Scrub.
Yes.
Sweeping.
Yeah.
And the reason why I said coquille broom, especially outside, is the sound of it. People are going to
Yes.
go and try this. They're going to go and try this. And somebody will say that
You
this
started
girl is
it.
just mad.
You started the trend.
No, but you can't.
Ricardo said
Sweeping.
doing dishes for him. So he's that person you were talking about.
Doing dishes. Yeah, doing dishes. Just something. Instead of sitting and festering.
It's the routine of it as well. I think with the movement
could
of
be that.
sweeping, you know, it's just because when you get into just doing that movement that there's not much thought into, you can relax.
Exactly. I knew I had something in there.
You're on it.
Thank you. And you know what else, Doc, I think is good? Animals.
Oh yeah, dogs for me, 100%. Bring all of them.
Dogs.
Yeah,
dogs.
I love them.
I love dogs. I have a dog, Norman.
Hi, Normie.
Normie is my dog. He is just, dogs just love you unconditionally.
They do.
They could take away stress, anxiety, being with them, patting, looking into those eyes, hugging.
That's why they're emotional support animals. Most emotional support animals are dogs.
Yeah, they really, really, really are. So I love dogs. And I think people should look at getting a pet. Of course, if you can afford your pet. Because at the same time, you see
a pet
parents
like a
getting kids. A pet is like a child. A responsibility. Not everybody can travel at the same time in a house and all kinds of things because the baby's going to be there. So
that's right.
Yeah, it's just little things. People feel that, you have to go to these really important classes.
Yes.
And, expensive yoga. Yoga's great, by the way, no problem with that.
I love yoga.
You
but
have
I do it on
to,
YouTube.
And so do I. So you don't have to do all these things. That you don't have to have a whole lot of money to find that sense of calm and peace.
I love that. And I mean, not that we're, to quote the that meme you're choosing, one piece, you want problems. But this segment where we talk about what boils your water. I mean, you want to help people and you're in these fields. I mean, is there anything, and it doesn't have to be related to your field or anything like that, but in general, what upsets you? What is your pet peeve? What is boiling your water right now?
Right now, I'm almost on a daily basis I'm trying to deal with.
Okay, tell us.
People who inconvenience people for their own convenience.
Yeah, that's it. Say it again.
People who inconvenience people for their own convenience. And by that, I mean on the roads,
especially
in the supermarket. Ooh, you name it, anywhere.
Yeah.
The traffic goes down and up.
Yes.
You want to get something on this side. You pull across on this side. You block the whole lane so the Zabaka lady could put it in your car. Yeah. This now causes traffic on this lane.
Yeah.
These people are crowded because they need to overtake you. The vans that stop to offload the goods for the grocery and the parlor.
Yes.
Walking into the bank, walking anywhere, you line up for so long, they walk in front.
In front of you. Yes. They didn't see you. All of a sudden they're blind.
They didn't see you. And I have no problem asking somebody said, listen, I'm busy. I've got this.
Exactly.
Don't worry. No problem with that. There's no problem with that. I've got some kids outside, whatever it is. But inconveniencing people for your own convenience is really a pet peeve of mine because it has such a trickle-down effect to so many other things.
Exactly.
And I find it selfish.
It is selfish. 100%.
And when you do something like that, it doesn't only affect the person right next to you, but everybody else. You're driving on a shoulder. But when you have to come in, all of us have to stop too.
We have to stop. And if everybody's doing that, because it's never just one person doing it.
It's never one. So it's just inconveniencing people to convenience for your own convenience.
Yeah.
That's one. And it every single day on the roads, you see it.
Yeah.
Everywhere you go, anything that you're doing, it's almost that we have lost any sense of what's around us. And we're just seeing straight in front of us, and that's what I need, and that's what I want. And
it's a reflection of society today, our society today. It really is.
Yeah.
Which is, and the thing about it is, you know, we're getting more and more like that. We're moving away from what we would have known, especially as a Caribbean country. Because to me, that's standard abroad, you know, US, England, Europe, like they're very much about themselves and their business. But there's always been different. In the Caribbean, there's that warmth, there's that whole it takes a village to raise a child, you know, we look out for each other. You're not seeing that anymore. You're not seeing that anymore. So I think all of those things you're talking about are just reflections of what's happening in the wider society.
But can stop to mind people's business.
Oh, well, that's important. How else will we know what's going on, Mickela? You're not
reading the news. Well, I know what's going on if I don't stop to look at what my
You're not reading the news. We have to stop and look at this accident here, and we have to film it. Good job,
and video.
That's right, because we want to be the first ones to post it and share it, you know, and get all the likes and views.
Before we actually help.
Helping? Why are we doing that? No.
Yeah.
Let's just make sure we get it on our phones. That's enough.
Yeah.
That's
become Americanized.
In all the worst ways.
Westernized in a negative way. Let's put it that way.
Exactly. Westernized in a negative way. I mean, and we have to, and so that comes back to how you started in terms of just making sure that you're able to balance your life. Because if we let those pet peeves of ours, whatever they may be, right, raise up our blood pressure every day, all the time, we would be even angrier as a people.
Correct.
And you would see that manifesting in many more ways than what you see right now. You know, so I think it is important, as you said, to make sure you take that time, whatever it is, to sit down under the mango tree, to sweep with a cookie brew, whatever it is. You know, we just need to take that time so that we can come down a bit. Because most of the time we're just going. Even in our downtime, we're scrolling on social media, and that's just more going. We don't recognize it, but it's more going. You know, so I think it's really important.
Putting so much nonsense into your head.
Yes, because
nonsense
you can't
that you believe and that you believe, and you're quoting to everybody else and sharing to everybody else
and spreading the nonsense.
And spreading the nonsense. There is no critical thinking anymore. There's no questioning of anything.
I've never heard that too.
You know, you know, you tell somebody something and that's it.
Yeah,
that's it. It's who
it's
said
on
it
the
first
internet,
is right.
Mickela. It's on the internet, so
it's who said it first is right, and that's it. Yeah. That's it. And I don't agree with that. Nobody can sit down and discuss things anymore. It's not the truth. It's now my truth.
What happened to the truth?
The truth.
Gone. Everything is relative now.
It makes me sad because sometimes, because on Sundays, that's another thing I love to do. I just want, there's so many parts of Trinidad that you could learn about.
Yes.
So I just want to learn my country and go all over. Just take a couple of hours and drive around. You can go into the most rural parts and people are sitting down on their phones.
Yeah. Children don't know now what it's like to play in the road. Like, I grew up knowing what that was like. You know, you play in the road, you play with your neighbors. They don't, immune system's weak because they're not falling down outside.
Correct.
Outside all the time.
Correct.
Yeah. You know, so it's the more we evolve, it's actually the more that we lose. You know, because we're losing that connection with people. And all of that does tie into your mental health because, as you also stated, I told you, you're just ahead of the game. As you also stated, having that support system, having people you can talk to, whom you can confide in. You said you're friends with people that you've been friends with since you were 7-8 years old. You know, so you have that support system there tied in so that you can maintain your sanity in this crazy world, you know, and in the things that you do. So I think that's also important because sometimes we feel like we need to isolate and we need to just focus on ourselves and we don't know what the balance is.
Absolutely. We
don't know what the balance is.
And these things are for free. You don't need money to do these things. You know, they're for free. Pick up the phone and call your friend.
Yeah.
Call instead of texting.
Actual call. Yes.
Okay, it's okay to speak. People feel uncomfortable answering a phone now. You know, it's uncomfortable.
Yeah, we call Ricardo. Ricardo would watch the phone ring, Mickela. He's one of those people. He'd watch the phone ring, and when you're done, when it rings out, he'd message you. Oh, sorry, I missed your call.
No.
I'm sure he's never done it to me, but I'm sure.
I am so going to do that, and I'm gonna text. I'm going to ring you, so do not tell me you are going to miss my call. tell me a good time to call you. I will be calling you.
We're both going to call him. We're both going to call him. See what he does.
But it's true. It's like people don't want to speak to each other.
Yeah.
People don't want to just spend time. When you go to the beach, what about a restaurant? You go to a restaurant, whether it's husband and wife, boyfriend and girlfriend, mom, dad, kids, everybody's on the phone.
We don't know how to do that face-to-face stuff anymore.
Yeah.
Take pictures of the food. That's right.
It's my food. That's
Posting. You know, like it's. Yeah. I'm not against anybody who enjoys that. People enjoy different ways of, you know, sharing things.
Oh, we like to see nice things.
We want to.
We like to see nice things. Yeah.
But you know, also where's the balance? You know, so do you have to post it now? Can you wait until after the date is done or the event is done and tomorrow or tonight? Why does it have to be right now? You know, so I think a lot of it is just about, can we still live in the moment? Do we still know how to do that? Because that's also good for our mental health.
Or even communicate. Because a lot of problems, whether it's in relationships, families, at work, in the world, is a lack of communication.
Absolutely right.
And you're thinking I'm thinking something, or I said something that didn't really reflect the way it meant with the right emoji. You know, and you know, and misconstrue things and just talk. This really bothered me when you said this. And let me tell you why. And somebody said, "Oh my God, I didn't even realize that." Or, you know, I did it, and this is how I felt. Yeah. You have two choices. You either say, "Look, we're gonna get past this," or, you know, it's over, whatever it is. But let there be some kind of solution.
Yeah.
So to what's going on, the problems that we face, and there is none. It's just miscommunication. You go that way, I go that way, we go onto our phones.
And that's it. Oh, Ricardo says addressing the internal narrative. I like that. Yeah. Addressing the internal narrative. So, Mickela, I mean, I feel like you have really talked a lot in a very integrated and constructive way, comprehensive way, about all of these things that contribute to our mental health. How would you describe your mental health?
God, I'm glad you asked me that and not somebody else. I began by saying,
Norman,
who is Mickela? Who is Mickela? That is so beautiful. Let me be honest and say, how would you describe your mental health? This is the first time I don't have an answer for something. I must be able to, oh, that's so beautiful. Just something I've not thought about. I always have an answer. I would say
everything.
Yeah. I don't want to say that calm. I don't think that's adaptable. Okay. Is that right? Mm-hmm. Is that a right way? A work in progress.
Yeah. That tracks. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Not perfect, because I'm going to leave work and I'm going to go and get upset with somebody driving slowly fast lane and think about you.
Yes.
And do my breathing and
think
do
about
my
your
breathing.
Your cookie brew. Think about
it. Think about my dog. Think about, but I like. Yeah. I forgot to mention chow.
Chow. Any kind of chow?
Is one of my any kind. Cabbage, carrot, cucumber, just name it. Chow, I find, is making chow and eating chow is very, very yum. And pepper's supposed to have endorphins, which lifts your mood and things like that.
Pepper lover, noted.
Bad. I love it. But I don't know. I mean, I think stable, obviously, which is good.
Yeah.
Mental health wise, but I really think it's a work in progress. The more you get to learn about yourself.
Yes.
I'm always going to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
What they really think. But, you know, the more you start to have a sense of introspection, look at yourself, you see what you need to fix. You see what makes you feel good. You know, I reached a stage where getting angry just doesn't work for me physically anymore. Nope. I feel that when my adrenaline goes up and it comes crashing down, I feel really down.
Yeah.
Really down.
Yes. Wow.
And I learned that about myself.
You're paying attention to yourself.
You know, I'm paying attention because I'm getting older. You know what I mean? As you get older, you kind of pay attention to these things a bit more.
Yeah.
But you know, you get annoyed. You seriously, like, you could feel your blood pressure. You could feel the veins throbbing in your head. And then when that's gone and it stops, it just, the adrenaline just seems, and that's the way that I describe it, you know, visualize it in my head, and it just stops, and you go completely down, and then you feel depressed. Because it is not anger is not
it's not a good thing.
A good feeling. It's not a nice feeling. Love makes it, look how love makes us feel.
Right.
You know, love and excitement, or you know, surprises and these kinds of things. But when you anger, no, it's just not good. And I make a conscious effort not to get there, not to surround myself with paying attention. People.
Yeah. You're paying attention to
no,
yourself.
In politics, Karen. No, not being.
Well, this is the thing. You really can't get angry all the time and for everything, you know, because anger, I mean, in and of itself is not a bad thing. It's an emotion, but what you do with it. So a lot of people, what they do with that anger is what causes those feelings, you know, and can cause that crash afterwards. So I'm glad that you're paying attention to yourself.
Yeah. And also, you get to that stage where you're going to say things you're going to regret.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be in a position where you have to apologize, because an apology can't do anything. It's already been said.
That's right. Can't take it back.
You can't take it back. You know, so you say things, you might do things. And I don't like that feeling of not being in control almost.
Yeah.
Of myself, where I feel like I've said something or I felt or I thought something.
Yeah. Yeah.
That wasn't good. I mean, when you start to learn these things and you start to say, well, how did I feel? Ask yourself. Was that how the other person felt?
I mean, if that doesn't make you think twice.
Exactly. You know, or slamming a door and doing this thing. I would just, I mean, at an early age, I realized that those things did not make me feel good, because I do know that I feel things intensely. I love intensely. I feel strong. Everything I do quite intensely. So
you're passionate.
Passionately. That's a beautiful word, Doc. So I wouldn't want to, you see, that anger and also in terms of mental health, anxiety, I think, is a huge thing.
Yep.
And for me, I know, and this is no disrespect to the atheists out there or people who don't believe, praying helps.
It does.
I'm not necessarily asking.
No, but just talking. That connection.
Talking to God.
Yeah.
God, I want to do my best.
Yeah.
Please help me. Please help my best to be good enough for today. You know your fears. Please take all fear away from me. You know, and it's not telling God sometimes, somebody who's listening, this is what I'm afraid of. Because when you're expected to be strong, you can't, for everyone else around you
who's strong for you,
you really can't show that set with God Almighty being who we put first.
Yeah.
And I say that meaning Jesus, Allah, Buddha,
whoever he is to you,
Lord Rama, Lord
yes,
God, and you feel so good. And I remember, I'm not an Anglican, but when I was studying abroad, there was this Anglican church right next to me, and I always remember. And church in those days, churches used to stay open; they don't anymore.
Yeah,
because people come in and vandalize and all kinds of things. And I would walk and just go and sit down in church, just sit, and no one would be there. And sometimes have a little walk around and come back out, and I would feel whatever was on my shoulders had been lifted. That's my experience. I'm not telling anybody else that this, so to do this or that. I'm saying for myself.
Yeah.
So religion as a part, I mean, if this makes any sense to anybody else, of mental health works for me personally.
It does. Yeah. And for different people that works. You know,
so to just talk.
Yeah.
It's not always asking, God, can you help me with this? Can you do that? It's not always that. God, today I was so and so, and this happened, and so and so, and you wouldn't believe this. That's what I call a relationship with God.
Yes,
Probably
correct.
boring God to death, but I think it
Yeah.
helps.
Yeah.
It helps. Just listen to it. You're like,
I
God,
think
you
he knows- I
again.
think he's okay with it. He's like, all right,
You
this one, it's
again.
fine.
You again. I tell you, don't talk to them people, but you again. I can know all these signs, and you're not listening to me.
Neon signs, and you're doing what you want. Mickela, I mean, this I think that is a beautiful way for me to end this. This has been so lovely. I don't even want to stop. I want to just ask you so many things. But you know, in the interest of time and responsibilities and whatever, we'll have to end here. But I am so grateful to you for your yes and for coming on and for spending this time with us. This has truly been amazing. Is there anything that you'd like to see in closing?
No, well, first of all, thank you.
You're welcome.
I love Cardo. I feel like he's a brother to me. I went onto the living room and I understood what a real interview was.
Right.
And it was beautiful. And Aaron, and to sit down and talk
shout out to
about
DJ Aaron 868.
DJ Aaron, and just to be able to chat and to. I think people don't think politicians or lawyers or whoever are real people. Some of them are not, but it's nice for people to see the other sides of people and that you go through more or less the same sort of things.
Yes.
And I guess in closing, what I'd like to say is, guys, please look after your mental health. You don't need money to do it. And it is not a Western thing we're talking about. You know, anytime you hear mental health, people are, oh, that's them people up there abroad. No, it isn't. Your mental health is it's real. It's
for everyone.
And it is nothing to be ashamed of. And I think, you know, just don't be ashamed. And I hope one day through your great work, that mental health wouldn't be seen as you're mad or you're going insane.
I still get.
And you get all of that. And to speak to a counselor or psychiatrist or whoever it is therapeutic, and it doesn't mean that you're mad, so that we'll be able to remove the stigma from being able to speak about feelings, so we don't go around chopping people and killing people.
That's right.
And running down people and everything. Running down people on the road. And just talk. And some people will never feel it, but for younger people at least, find one person that you can speak to. There is somebody out there. So thank you. And thank you for having me. And I will come again if you invite me. Anytime.
All right, say less. You heard it. As she said, she will come back. Right?
I will come back.
Saying, Mickela, if it's when you're prime minister, you can't tell me no because you promised.
I will never tell you no. Ever. Never. Or you, Cardo, don't get jealous.
Cardo, don't get jealous. Okay? So
love you.
Thank you so much to Mickela Panday for being here with us. We had such a wonderful time. As usual, I am jvaldez, your host. Thank you for being with us. Oh, Mickela, do you want people to reach out to you? Like, do you have socials that you'd like us to?
Sure, you can just find Mickela Panday. MICKELA One word.
All right. Great. And that is not for you all to harass Mickela. Okay? She has things to do. All right.
You can harass me, don't worry.
Right. So thanks for being with us. I'm your host, jvaldez. As usual, continue to normalize mental health discussion. This has been Chit Chat with 2 T's. And